Welcome back to the second channel. The All-Stars draft has finished and I am a Bodhi brawler. I think my team is looking extremely strong and I have very high expectations for us. I think we have a very good chance to win the whole thing, but the teams are not what I'm here to talk about today. I think there's been a lot of discussion about all the teams already. I wanted to talk about the day one, more specifically the first 7 hours leading up to the breach, the expectations and what I think is going to happen in those 7 hours. So I think I'm just going to chuck on some footage from last All-Stars of my POV of the first 7 hours and talk about and try to predict what I think is going to shake down, what I think is going to happen, how many people are going to die, who is going to win the first breach, what the first breach is going to look like, stuff like that. And to talk about this time, first we had to talk about last time, because last time the bloodbath was at zombie pirates. Zombie pirates were a huge thing last time. The food, the money, the prayer pots that you get from these things. Do you get prayer pots? I don't remember. The supplies you get from these are unmatched. These things were crazy last time. So crazy that they have been nerfed insanely hard. Right after last All-Stars, they went from a 50% chance to get a drop to a 15%. You can go back to the 50% if you get the diary, but in the first 7 hours, they are like 1/3 as good as they were last All-Stars. So if you killed 100 zombie pirates and got 50 manta rays, now you would get about 15 manta rays or something. Someone do the math. I don't know. 17? Is that the right number? You get a third of the supplies from zombie pirates now. But I think these things are still crazy strong. The most important thing you got from zombie pirates was the XP and levels that you got, which you'll still get. And you'll still get a little bit of starter cash and at least 1 or 2 full inventories of food for your whole team. So I think these are still going to be a big thing this time. Something that wasn't a big thing last time, besides for the solo mission stakes, was the library. We were the only ones to go here. I remember Joel was the one that came up with this solo mission. Solo Mission said, I really think this is going to be a hotly contested spot. And I was like, this is a genius idea. I didn't think of this. I don't think anyone else is going to think of this. And I'm glad I was right, because we were the only ones at the library. And this place is crazy strong. We were the only ones that had Barrage. We were the only ones that had everyone with Blitz. I think some people had like 2 or 3 people with Blitz last time. We had 4 Blitzers and 1 Barrager. And that was a big reason why we won that breach, was because Joel had Barrage. I keep saying Joel. Solo Mission has Barrage. And all of us had Blitz. That's probably the main reason why we won that breach. But this time, everyone knows about it. Everyone's going to look at the winning plan from last time and say, wow, we should probably adapt that into our strategy. So the library will not be uncontested this time, surely. It is a bit slower because the combat XP multiplier went from 20x to 15x. So you will have to do a little bit more. But it's still by far the fastest mage XP. You don't get HP XP, but I think that's okay. You can 0 time your mage by alching, but that costs money, and this is free, so I think this is just by far the best, and everyone will be looking at this. Speaking of mage, there's no desert treasure this time. Last time we had Blitz and Barrage at the breach. This time, if you want to blitz someone, you're going to have to quest all of desert treasures in those first 7 hours, which is definitely possible, but it will leave you pretty weak, and I don't really think people will do it. Maybe a team just does desert treasure before the first breach, it's very weak and skips the first breach entirely, and they just want to get desert treasure out of the way. I really have no idea. I really hope no one skips the breach. I don't want a repeat of last year's foes team. The breaches are too fun to skip, so I don't think people will skip it. The trade-off for desert treasure not being auto-completed is that this time we have Monkey Madness auto-completed, which is honestly a bad thing. It's kind of a nerf. We won't get any Monkey Madness XP, no Gnome Quest XP, no Monkey Madness crazy XP drop from last time, which means we won't get a free 70 defense, which is a pretty massive change. I think those are all of the big changes from last time. There's a PJ timer, which is a pretty big thing as well. So let's start with the Season 2 7 hours, the first 7 hours leading up to the breach of this time. And I want to start with literally the first minute, because the first minute this time is way different than last time. You no longer spawn in with any food. Last time we had 10 tuna. Now we have nothing, and no money as well. Last time we had 5k, this time we have 0 GP spawned. Well, I guess we have 25 GP in our bank, but that's nowhere near the 5k we had last time. You literally only spawn in with your starter sigil, a free random tier 1 sigil, and all 3 of your DMM starter weapons, and the tutorial island items. I'm predicting that there's going to be some deaths literally in the first minute of All-Stars. Most people are going to be picking the mage sigil at the start because it's a guaranteed finale sigil, and it's pretty damn good at the breaches and during the week as well. And you start with Airstrike, which means you can proc the Mage Sigil in the first minute on another player. And the Mage Sigil, if you don't know, does a guaranteed 18 damage. We start with 10 HP, and we start with a shrimp and a bread. The total pool of HP you have at the start is 18 damage, just enough for the Mage Sigil to kill you. So if you run south of the Grand Exchange at the start, we're starting at the Grand Exchange, not in Lumbridge this time. If you run south right at the start and attack a player and you get that lucky proc, they're just dead. And you get a finale food and they lose one. It's kind of ridiculous. It's pretty funny, to be honest. I can see all of Skillspex's team just sculling up, going for the coin flip, causing that chaos. If someone attacks me with an airstrike, I'm hitting them right back. I'm going for the coin flip. It's just like staking. It's just 50-50 whoever hits the proc first. Honestly, you're kind of incentivized to attack someone because you'll get an attack off before them. So you'll have like odds. It's like having pit odds or something at the duel arena. But I really think that this could happen right in the first minute, and it will be extremely dangerous for every single player until they get out of that threshold where they can just die from one proc of the Mage Sigil. So I expect every team to maybe just go to a safe zone and hit stuff for until they're like 19 HP, or they go make a little bit of money somehow in a safe zone, buy some food so they don't instantly die to a mage proc. Or you could play it risky and try to get like a few minutes ahead of people and go to whatever area you need to get to first. It's going to be complete chaos in the first 5 or 10 minutes until you get some safety and HP and food. After you get that safety net, the whole world kind of opens up to you. There's a lot to do before the first breach. There's overheads, magic, questing, all the stuff to do. Everyone will be getting their magic level up because they need a way to freeze escape in case they get attacked. You can no longer just spam like a ladder or anything if there is that teleport timer. So if you get attacked, someone is on you until you freeze them. Like I was saying earlier, I really think the library is going to be hotly contested. It is a single zone, whereas Zombie Pirates was a multi-zone. But again, the sigils mean that you have a very good chance of killing someone if you just get on them. The staircases aren't going to escape, so if you get attacked here, you're going to have to just run to a safe zone. Because if you're at the library, you probably don't have freezes yet. You're probably going to the library to get freezes. So hopefully the like 10 or so food that you have will be enough, because you need to have like half your inventory full of books for the library. So you can't have that much food, which means this place is pretty dangerous and could be a pretty good place to PK or try to lock down. It is scary, but this place is just too good to pass up, in my opinion. The library, you can 0 time your mage, but it costs a ton of money, and the library is extremely fast, faster than any combat method, any alching method. It's the fastest way, and it's free. Like, this place is just crazy. So I'm predicting every team is coming to this library at some point. And I think there is a high chance that a lot of people will die here. Decent chance that someone tries to lock this place down, but I think this place will be the center of the first 7 hours before the first breach. Another extremely hotly contested area I think is going to be the Revenant Caves. This place is probably the best source of cash in the tournament. Very strong for training your melee stats if you're going to get melee because of the Salvami, and the chance at a rev weapon is huge. The Wilderness bosses, the Void Waker is going to be a hotly contested item this time, and a rev weapon really helps speed that thing up. Revenants are highly rewarding, but they are also highly risky. If you get attacked here in the first 7 hours, you're probably tanking down to the 20 line so you can teleport, because I don't think anyone's going to have like a Ring of Wealth or anything in the first 7 hours or so. So you'll have to tank south for a while and then get a freeze hug. But I don't think the DPS will be that crazy high at the first couple hours of the tournament, so I think it's pretty doable. I can see a lot of PvP happening in the first couple hours here, not because people are looking for kills, but you want to kind of get people out of your spot. People are going to like fight over the like hobgoblin spots like last time. People are going to fight over the demon spots. They're going to try to push people out so they can farm the revenants themselves. The cash that you get from revenants is so game changing. Last time Eli and I kitted our whole team in Mystics and Dragon Sims. I don't know if that's realistic this time, but I think a lot of Mystics and a couple Dragon Sims is pretty realistic from these revenants. And I think most teams will also be coming to the Revenant Cave. And the third area I wanted to talk about is the Wilderness Agility course. This is a huge way to get your hard food and prayer pots for the breach. It also prints cash. And the big thing is the Sigil of Lithe. One of the teams is going to get it, most likely. It's a one, I think there are 23 tier 1 sigils and there's 30 people. So there are going to be 30 sigils being unboxed, and whichever team gets the Lithe sigil is going to be at a massive advantage. The Lithe sigil is like the Sage's Greaves, the boots from leagues, where if you run around, you just get agility XP. It is incredibly strong. Right off the bat, if you spoon Lithe, you can just go to the agility pyramid. By the time you run there, you're probably going to be 30 agility. You do the agility pyramid 5 times, get 150k, you'll be like 70 or 80 agility by then probably, and you'll likely be the only person with the agility level to do Wilderness Agility, so you'll be pretty safe. No one can go up the course and get you once you're up there. The amount of food Wilderness Agility shits out is ridiculous. It restores 2 and a ton of cash. Whoever spoons the Lithe Sigil and does early Wilderness Agility is probably going to have full Mystics for the breach. They're going to have enough cash to do anything they want, really. Even without the sigil, I can see a lot of teams coming here to get hard food like manta rays and karambwans. There are other options, but this place is definitely the top of the list. It's just pretty risky. After the 7 hours of money making, training stats, questing, and getting gear, I think most people's breach setup is going to look something like this. Similar to ours on the snakes last season, Mystic, Dorkshin crossbow. I can see some people doing Haunted Mine in Fight Arena and getting some Dragon Scimitars on some of their members too. I don't think anyone's going to have 5 Dragon Scimitars, but the Dragon Scimitar is definitely going to make an appearance at the breach because the special attack is just too good to pass up. It's crazy strong. You sim someone's prayer off, and there's a high chance that they just get hit 5 hits off prayer, and they're just out of the fight, or they're just dead. Generally, though, I think Mage is king here. I think this is going to be the breach of Zami Flames. I think everyone's going to go do Magic Arena, get Zami Flames for the breach. Mage is generally the best DPS versus a lot of the breach monsters. There's like the 3 Magic Arena bosses. There's the 3 MA2 bosses. There's like Magic Mike or Mark. Magic Mike's the stripper. Magic Mark. There's like the Duriel guy. There's the superior monsters, Barrows, the Jal and Kot. There are so many monsters that Mage does very well against, where range and melee wouldn't really do much. So Mage is definitely the best DPS at the breach, and the best DPS you can probably get in the first 7 hours is a charged Zami Flame. So I think everyone's going to try to get 80 Mage. Again, another reason why the library is so strong. 80 Mage with Zami Flames, you can hit 30s, and it's crazy accurate as well. It's pretty damn good versus players too. It lowers other people's mage defense. So there's like the mind game of, do we get like 83 Mage so we can still entangle if we get Zami Flamed? There's a lot of decisions to make with the Mage level. But I think this time around, the first breach will generally be a PVM breach. It's a pretty safe location. It's by zombie pirates, pretty close to single. The monsters will spawn all over. You can like hug the singles line. I don't think people have crazy enough DPS to KO people in multi. I think everyone's going to be pretty mage heavy, and mage prayer will go a long way at the breach. I think people are going to play it pretty safe. PVM, try to get a few trinkets, maybe spoon a PvP weapon like a VLS. Oh, if Odoblock, Bitterbitter, or West Ham get an early VLS, I'm going to be so sad. Oh, I really hope that they don't spoon a Breach 1 VLS. I feel like I'm kind of manifesting it right now, though. But I don't have too high expectations for big multi-fights on this first breach. I think day 2 and on will ramp up very heavily in the PvP side of things as people get better gear and stats. But yeah, I think the first breach will be pretty chill. Obviously, I can't leak all of the brawlers' early on strategies, but I think most people will generally be doing the same thing, and we kind of all know what to expect from the first 7 hours, because there's a lot of like mandatory stuff to do. So I think talking about all this stuff is pretty obvious, and all of the teams already know about all of this. There is some hidden stuff that I haven't said, obviously. I'm not saying everything. But yeah, that is how I see the general first 7 hours in the first breach going. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it insightful, and I will see you in the next video. Also, I'm streaming on my main channel right now if this video just came out. I've been streaming, kind of just doing some stuff on the DMM Allstars test server. So if you want to come join, go to my main channel, click the bell, click subscribe here. Okay, bye.